Hello guys, I'm back from another video, and today is about what if Deku was reincarnated into Genshin Impact, and I'm starting to realize that this is probably the longest series ever. Either way, so in the last video we talked about how after waking up after his good night's sleep with all four of his girls, not really all of them, I mean there's still the two in Inuzuba and also Hutao. So after waking up, he would see that all of them are gone, as he would start going downstairs and would see all of them basically eating breakfast. But it seems to be more tense. Both the Mondstadt girls and and the Leeway girls are currently, having just imagine those little sparks basically coming off of them, basically thinking that that they're planning to beat them. Like both of them are basically like all of them are basically thinking that, except for Lamine. Lamine is just thinking, oh, this is certainly being annoying. She would basically say in her mind, or at least something similar to that. And so, after, eating breakfast, Izuku would basically start leaving with, Lamine because they had to go and visit, Ningguang for something important. And so, after leaving, all for the girls, specifically, Noelle, Amber, Hu Tao, and finally, Shangling are basically getting ready to fight. But before they can actually go, actually fight, apparently there was a knock at the door, as when Hu Tao basically opens the door, she would see one of her employees, aka, Zhongli. After, telling them that she's gonna be leaving, and also telling them if they were to stab her in the back, she's gonna murder them and basically bring them to hell. Yeah. So, after basically leaving, all for the girl, or at least the rest of the girls, aka all three of them, specifically Shangling, Amber, and also, um, Noelle, would basically start arguing once again until, Shangling has to leave to basically open a restaurant. After leaving, both of the girls, aka, both of the Mondstadt girls, would decide to try and, make sure that, they leave their mark on Izuku. No matter freaking what. So yeah, after that, we basically go back to Izuku. As Izuku is currently, wait for a second. So yeah, after thinking of that, we basically go back to Izuku, and we see Izuku and Lamine basically talking to Ningguang. Mostly about what happened last they came here. Mostly about, how they basically left and basically became, literal, heroes to this nation. Apparently, it's been going well. Apparently, Zhao has been, doing pretty well and no longer is, I guess you could say emo, but still. So, after a bit of talking, apparently she would basically tell them that they had to go somewhere important. Apparently, there's this chasm, and apparently some, not really some, but more like a lot of hero shows had been recently going there. And so, she would basically call in, Gon Yu to basically help them. After being told of this, they would start leaving to go to the chasm. After arriving at the chasm, and thanks to the help of Izuku's, thanks to the help of mixing in a bit of of Geo and also some, animal, energy, and also using, some, hydro energy to create a little, I guess you could say, screen, I guess you could say, they would start, creating basically drones. Yeah, they're basically just drones at this point. And so after seeing the whole situation, they would start going into the large looking, area, aka, the large chasm, as you would see a few, Hilichurls and some Abyss Mages, not really Abyss Mages, but more like Abyss energy. Like the same energy as an Abyss, or at least an Abyssal-like creature. As when Izuku feels this, he would think that it's probably, the Abyss, the Abyss Orders, doing. But when he was about to, jump in, the portal would basically disappear as he would basically jump into the, large looking cavern. Wait for a second, what the heck is this? Sorry about that. So, after, jumping into the cavern, he would see that the cavern was actually kind of beautiful. The ceiling was filled with several gems. Mostly, amberish color. Not like Amber the character, but either way. As Zubin and Ganyu basically arrived there, they would also see the area as well. They would also see in the middle of the cavern was a large hill with a beautiful tree on top of it. As when Izuku came closer to the tree, he would realize that this isn't a tree. As he would basically jump off of it, as both the girls would basically get ready, and the tree and the hill would start transforming into a large reptile-like creature similar to a dragon, but without the wings. Apparently, the name of this creature was Azdaha. And we basically ended off the episode right there. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next then. So, as Izuku sees this, he would say, "What the? Guys, get ready!" As Ganyu would basically, gets ready her bow, as for, Lamine, she would basically get ready her sword. Izuku would basically grab his, two Hellfire sides as he would start spinning them. And after spinning them, he would start creating little tornadoes with the help of a mix of, a mix of what is that called? Yeah, Animo and a bit of, pyro energy. Just imagine, how Scorch Release is. Yeah, that's Scorch Release from Naruto. God. At this point, I'm probably gonna make a what if about Naruto, or Izuku going to Naruto, or maybe Bell going into Naruto. Maybe it's dependent on you or something like that. Either way, as when he did this, he would start creating a large tornado made out of fire. Just imagine, how Orochimaru did that in, the special Akatsuki, special, or the, Akatsuki special move in, Naruto Ninja Storm. Or at least I think that's the name of the game. Yeah, where there's basically, if you add in like a few characters from the Akatsuki, like for example Orochimaru, something of that sort. He would start, instead of having the usual normal-ish move from each of those characters, you'll get a brand new cutscene. Instead, it's just like all of the Akatsuki members using all of their abilities at once. So just imagine it just like that in the in that scene. As when he did that, he would start shooting out tons, and I mean tons of this large tornadoes made of fire. As when Astaha sees this, he would start trying to get out of the way, as he would start charging towards Izuku with his large horns. When Izuku saw this, he would basically dodge it away, but, Lumine prepared for this, and would be slammed into the, ground by Astaha. As she would say this, "Ow, that hurt!" As when Ganyu was firing, she would start feeling the pain from her, sprain on her knee, as she would say this, "Ow, it hurts!" As Izuku would say this, not Amber, I meant Ganyu, you okay? As she would say this, "Yeah, I'm fine, I just, ow." As Izuku would say this, "Don't worry, I got this." After saying this, he would start, using a little bit of his, Hydro energy to basically start, healing her leg. As she would say this, "Good, but it's taking a bit too long." As she would start, using her bow once again and would start firing. As Izuku would say this, "Don't worry, I think we have enough time." As Asaha is basically, seeing them basically cowering in fear by his power, he would say this, "You pathetic little ants." After saying this, he would start charging towards them, as he would say this, "Who sent you?" As Izuku would jump out of the way, as Izuku would say this, "Nobody, we're just here because we're curious." Sort of, he would basically say in his mind, as he would say this, "You're lying. Morax told you to come here and kill me." After saying that, Izuku would say this, wait, how does he know Morax? Wait, I meant, what's his face? Wait, how does he know Zhongli? Or at least, Morax? After saying this, he would look over and would see Azda charging up an attack. More specifically, the attack seems to be colored red, or more specifically, the aura around it would start to become red. As he would start stomping the ground, as fire would appear, as Izuku would say this, "Alright guys, we should probably get out of here." As one of them would say this, "Are you sure?" As Izuku would say this, "Yes, I'm pretty sure." As Izuku would basically start creating a little, a bit of a, dragon made of, of this, aka, animal energy and also geo energy, as you would start flying in the, where the ceiling is. As when Astaha saw this, he would start using, cryo as a cryo-like energy would basically burst out of him, creating a little ball as it would shoot out, ice-based missiles basically charging towards him. As Izuku would say, how many attacks? Like, how many fucking attacks does he have? As when, Lumine saw this, Lumine would basically, get ready her attack as she would start, blasting off, animal balls. Actually, actually, it sounds so wrong out of context because animal sounds like animal, and oh god, I can just imagine somebody thinking that I said animal balls. What the fuck? Uh, actually, let's just call them air balls. Actually, that sounds even sort of worse. Okay, I'm just gonna be calling them wind spheres. Why not? So, as while she was doing this, she would start shooting off, wind spheres that basically break the ice, as Astaha would be furious. As Izuku would say this, alright, guess I'll have to try this then. As he would basically start charging up a bit of, hydro energy into his large, like, broadsword, this one. As he would say this, take this, war drop. After saying that, it would shoot out a large blast of water, which resembles, a shark's tooth. You probably know this reference from, a certain anime with hollows. Oh god, I really wanted all of you guys to make, I really wanted to make a, what if about the espadas, like for so long. But unfortunately, all of you guys decided to go for the ghouls, but, for the ghoul, powers. But still, I'm pretty much, happy with that, sort of. Anyway, continuing on with the episode, as when he did that, the blast of water would basically, slam into Asaha, as Asaha would be, would jump out of the way, as Asaha would start, becoming even more mad. As Asaha would start using, electro energy this time, as Izuku would say this. Alright, what the fuck is this bullshit? He would start thinking in his mind, is he like, is he similar to me or something? Or is he like similar to Amber? He would be, not Amber, I meant, Lumine. As when Izuku said that, he would basically look over and would see Asaha charging up a bit of, electro energy. As the electro energy would start swarming around him, as it would turn into sort of like this. Just imagine this for a second. As the purplish energy is basically, going around Azdaha, or whatever you want to call him at this point. Like, I'm just gonna call him, just Zhongli's At this point, I'm just gonna be calling him Zhongli's pet at this point. So, as he starts going into the ground, as his tail would start glowing this almost color, almost similar to, the Electro Archon's energy, as it would start shooting off, several bolts of electricity, as the dragon would start, falling to the ground after getting shocked by the electricity, as it would start turning into nothing more than rocks and, a bit of wind, as Izuku could say this. Guys, hold on, as, both, Ganyu and Lumine are basically worried that they're about to fall, as Izuku would basically cover himself in the Susanoo-like body, made out of both, electro and, and pyro. After doing that, it would start, creating a little bit of electricity in one hand as it creates the, a large electric sword. And in the other hand, it would start creating a large fiery scythe. As Izuku would say this, alright, I'm done with this. As the four wings would basically appear on his back, as it would start flying off into the, like, similar to the sky. I mean, it's not really, that high. I mean, they're still in a freaking cavern, but just imagine it as, a bit big. Yeah, just enough for a full-size Susanoo to basically, fly. Just imagine it as the same size as a, Just imagine it as the same size as, like, how about the same size as, like, Madara's Susanoo? Not in its full form, but it's just in its humanoid form. No armor, just that. So, after, doing that, it would start charging towards Astaza, or whatever you want to call him. I'm just gonna call it Zhongli's pet. You can't tell me otherwise. So, as after charging towards Zhongli's pet, he would basically slam the electric sword onto the tail, as it would basically be torn off. Oh boy. As when Astaza basically feels his tail was gone, it would start screaming out in pain as he would say, You! After saying that, as Izuku would say this, what? You attacked us first. After saying that, he would say, You're gonna pay for that. After saying this, he would start charging towards him, getting ready to bite onto the Susano's, body. Because, the Susano is technically the ultimate offense and defense, well, unfortunately, his teeth is destroyed. Yep. Oh boy, say goodbye to those teeth. And say hello to to the dentist right now. The dentist is definitely gonna be happy getting him dentures. After getting his teeth, just kaput, just like kaput, as you would say this. My teeth! What the hell did you do? After saying that, as Izuku would say this. Well, you did try to bite me, so as he would say this. Now enough of this. As he would basically charge up his sword and also his scythe together, as the scythe and sword would basically combine. As it would transform into basically a broadsword. Just imagine Dragon Slayer from, from not Bleach, god. Oh boy, I'm just imagining the comments right now. Anyway, continuing on. Just imagine, the Dragon Slayer from Berserk. As after charging it up, the electro energy and the pyro energy would basically combine as it would slam into Azdaza, defeating him once and for all. After doing that, Azdaza, or whatever you want to call him, would just be knocked out, as Izuku would say this. I think that's enough. As you would basically get out the Susano, as you would grab both of the girls, one of them is on his back, specifically Min, as, Izuku would basically grab, oh god. Just imagine, him basically like carrying, yeah, just imagine, Ganyu basically being carried by Izuku bridal style. After doing that, Min would say this. Izuku, as Izuku would say this, yeah? As currently Ganyu is just like confused what is happening to her. I mean, she's never really fallen in love all that much. The only thing that she cared about is mostly flowers. As in flowers, I mean literally eating the flowers. As, she would say this. Izuku, I told you that you're not allowed to have any other girls, right? As Izuku would say this. Oh, yeah, sorry about that, Ganyu. As Ganyu would say this. Oh, no, it's not really, that bad. I mean, it was a bit weird, but still. After saying this, Izuku would say this as well. Anyway, we should probably start leaving. After all, this guy is already knocked out, so... As Ganyu would say this. Oh, right. And she would realize that her foot is still pretty much hurting, as she would say this. Ow, ow, ow. As Izuku would say this. How about I carry you then? As she would say this. No, I'm pretty fine with that. I mean, your girlfriend probably might get jealous. As Lumi would agree. As Izuku would say this. Oh, don't worry, I won't be carrying you. As Izuku would start creating a little golem, as she would say this. Oh, cool. After that, they would start leaving, as Ganyu is basically being carried by a large-looking golem. Or at least a golem made out of both, both electro and, geo energy. Actually, no. Geo and, Geo and also, Dendro energy, because thanks to the Dendro energy, it's basically similar to, Hashirama's, wood style, where it's basically just like healing her. I don't really remember all that much about the, how the abilities of, wood releases, but I think I remember it's about, like, basically healing, like, the Biju's, like, rage or something, so I'm just gonna imagine it was just, like, healing as well. Similar to, the hydro, element at this point. So yeah, after that, they would start leaving. After arriving back home, they would see, all four of the girls basically somewhat, subdued. Or at least, not really fighting anymore. As, Noelle would basically say, Izuku, you're back. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, let's just say our job there was, let's just say pretty interesting to say the least, he would say. As, wait for a second. Shang would say this. Yeah, I can definitely see why. Anyway, so how's your day? Is it pretty good? And are you hungry? As Izuku would say this. Well, I'm pretty much okay, and actually I'm quite hungry, he would say. As you see this, don't worry, I already got not breakfast, I meant, dinner already in go. And so, after, getting breakfast, not breakfast, I meant dinner, god damn it, which is pretty large to be, to be honest. it was mostly filled with, different types of, like, seafood, because, Liyue is basically a harbor, and it would make sense that they have a lot of, fish-based food. I mean, fish-based food. God damn it! So, after seeing this, Izuku would say, "Alright, let's eat." After basically, basically doing a bow, as Izuku would start eating with the rest of his girls. Even though all four of the girls are oddly, somewhat, normal-ish. They're no longer fighting for some odd reason. As after noticing this, Izuku would say this, "So, are you getting along now?" As one of them would say this, "I guess you can say that," said, Noel, with a awfully sweet tone. As for, Utao, she would say this, "Yeah, we decided to do a truce. And because of that, we're gonna be sharing you." As, Shangling would say this, "Yeah, so, you better try not to get any other girls." As for Amber, she would say this, "Yeah, especially when we get to Inazuma. I can't wait to finally go there." As Izuku would start to feel a little bit, let's just say, despair inside of his mind, because, remember, he's forced to marry, he's being forced to marry, Miss misrated Shogun over there. And because of that, if he were to, bail out of it, well, let's just say we're gonna go back to, to the Inazuma arc once again. So, yeah, he has to break it to them that he, sort of has other girls in that country as well. And let's just say they're also pretty interesting, to say the least. And let's just say, if, when, Venti goes there, he's definitely gonna have a lot of laughs. And definitely going to make a lot of jokes and fucking poems about it, to say the least. Oh boy, this is definitely gonna be a great series when it finally ends. Oh god. So, after thinking that in his mind, Izuku would say this. "So, girls?" As the girls would say this. "Yeah, Izuku?" As Izuku would say this. "So, it's about, about a week now. Not really a week, but more like, about a week now. So, in a few, in a few months, we're gonna be, going to Inazuma, so prepare to pack all of your things." As, all of them would basically agree. As for, for a certain, Hutao over there, Hutao would say this. "Really? Huh. So I guess I'll have to cancel, my, funeral plan over there." As Izuku would say this. "Really? Maybe you can just ask Zhongli for that." As she would say this. "Sure, but he's probably not ready to do that all that much. I can definitely just ask one of my family members to do it." As after saying that, Izuku would say this. "Oh, cool." And so, as, Hutao leaves, reluctantly, I mean, she definitely wanted to sleep with Izuku, as all of them would basically, go into their, go into bed, aka, Lumine, Shangling, Hutao, not Hutao, I meant, Lumine, Shangling, Amber, and Noel are basically sleeping in the same, I guess you could say sort of Chinese futon. Just imagine the Chinese futon at this point. And so all of them would fall to sleep. So yeah, I'm gonna be ending this episode right off here. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye!